Call alert for our viewers. The FDA is warning parents not to use 3 powdered infant formulas that have been linked to a bacterial infection. 4 babies have been hospitalized and 1 died. The recall affects specific containers of Similac, Alimentum, and L-Care. Similac is a popular infant formula. The other 2 are powdered formulas often given to babies who have severe food allergies. Pediatrician Dr. Jeffrey Goldhagen is joining us via Zoom this morning. Good morning, Doc. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
So as we know, the FDA inspected the Michigan facility where these powdered formulas were made and say that it found a bacteria called chronobacter, which is what sickened 3 of the babies. Why is this bacteria so dangerous?
Well, they also found salmonella. So chronobacter, unlike salmonella, which causes GI symptoms, and it can be serious for sure, chronobacter actually causes more systemic problems. Babies can actually have meningitis and sepsis, and it's far more dangerous in many respects than salmonella. But parents should not be overly concerned. They should be cautious. They should check to make sure that they haven't used those formulas. It's unclear as to how much of that formula has been distributed in Florida. And I think, and to a great extent, this really is something that gives us a sense of security that the FDA has picked up on this really quickly and is on top of it and is alerting parents who now know what steps to take to protect their children.
And actually, as we continue this conversation, I want to just ask the producer to pull up on the screen exactly how parents can check to see if the recalled powder, because there's a certain number of numbers and whatnot on the containers, how they can check to see if this might be a formula that they have at home. And as you alluded to, for parents then, Dr. Goldhagen, who may have already given this formula to their baby, what are some warning signs that they really need to pay very close attention to, that they might have been infected with this bacteria or with salmonella?
Well, so the symptoms should come up relatively quickly. Salmonella perhaps more quickly than chronobacter. So that if it's been several days since they've used the formula, I don't think they need to be overly concerned. Salmonella presents with perhaps more severe GI symptoms than the routine viral gastroenteritis. And the kids can have fever and so on. So if that's a concern, they should call their call their doctors. But remember that COVID also presents with GI symptoms. The chronobacter really causes more significant issues. So if the babies are lethargic, if they are sleeping more, if they're stopped eating, if there's any indication that in fact they're not the happy, smiling babies that they were before, then again, they should call their physician. It's better, obviously, to catch these diseases earlier than later, but I think it's critically important that we don't need to panic. Just pay attention. The place where you bought the formula also should be able to tell you whether or not they carried the formula with that's of concern. So that's another source for you to actually research as well.
Thank you, Dr. Goldhagen, so much for the important information. Don't panic, but obviously if you use powdered formula under the brands Similac or Alimentum or L-Care, you do need to check your pantry. Thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, these formulas are coming from one of the country's largest infant formula makers. While none of the babies who got sick are here in Florida, the company says that it does ship its formula around the country and also abroad. So, again, the names Similac, Alimentum, and L-Care. Alimentum and L-Care are used in babies who have severe food allergies. Here's how to check if your powdered formula is included in the recall and could be contaminated with bacteria. You want to check the container. If the first 2 digits of the code are 22 through 37 and the code on the container contains K8, SH, or Z2 and has the expiration date of April 1st of this year, you need to throw it away. And if you've given any of this to your baby, you should call your pediatrician.